keywords are what we're talking about today, and how to use those to the best effort in your for your product. Find the best keywords. Keywords are the most important thing once you found your product. So let's just start at the basics. What is a keyword? A keyword is the search term that buyers type into the Amazon search bar. That's how they find your products. Why are they important? Because the right keywords are going to lead to discovery. But if you have the wrong keywords, or a keyword that's maybe not relevant, then that can really damage your listing. It could, if you put in something, say if you're selling yoga mats and you use the keyword yoga strap, but you don't have a yoga strap in your product, you're going to stand out on the keyword on the page for yoga strap, but your conversion's going to get hurt, and it's going to damage your listing. And when you're first starting out, the keywords are really, really important for Amazon to learn what your product is, because Amazon's algorithm doesn't know what you are. Your keywords tell Amazon what your product is. So that's going to determine who sees your listing. So yeah, I go on a bit about being hyper relevant with your keywords. They absolutely have to be the most relevant keywords. So you can be selective about it.
So how I like to look at keywords is basically, we need to remember that Amazon is a massive search engine. Okay, we know that a buyer is looking for something. I'm looking for a blue pen. I'm going to go into Amazon and write a blue pen. So you need to know what keywords your customers are using, so that if I'm selling a blue pen, my blue pen comes up. That is the most basic way of explaining why keywords are important. If you're not using those relevant keywords in your listing, your customers aren't going to find you. You're not going to make any sales. That's basically that's why keywords are like the most important thing.
Yesterday, I actually had to try and explain this to my granddaughter, because we're looking for a new water bottle for school for her. And she wants a yellow water bottle. And so I type in yellow water bottle, yellow insulated water bottle. She's like, no, just type in water bottle. And I'm like, no, this is what we want. This is what we need to type in. And we got, a nice selection of yellow insulated water bottles. We didn't have to search through pages to find what we were looking for. And she just was like, no, just be more general. And I'm like, no, we be more specific.
Yeah, especially, yeah. All right, next slide for you.
Yeah. All right. So where are you going to use your keywords? So you use your keywords from the very beginning. You're going to use it when you're doing your product research. I've had an instance where, especially if you're looking at a product, if you're Australian and you're looking for putting a product in the US, you might, when you're doing your product research, think, oh, this has no search volume, because you've maybe put in an Australian term. And so getting the right keywords are really important in your product research. So, I've put in a keyword. It doesn't happen often, but I've put in a keyword, and the numbers all look really, really good, but the search volume is really low. And I'm thinking, well, these people are making sales. Why is the search volume really, really low? You may just have one of those more obscure keywords. So it's really important to find those keywords when you're doing your product research, so you know what those real hero keywords are. So you can target those, and then off of those, find all of your other long tail keywords. Obviously, you're going to use it when you create your listing. So in optimizing your listing, it's really, really important to make sure you've gotten the most relevant keywords. You want to make sure that when you're using Listing Optimizer, which we're going to show you today, that you are putting in a really refined list from your Keywords on Fire session, so your score actually reflects the right keywords when it's giving you those numbers. And we'll go through all of those and explain how those work when we do the demonstration today. But then you're also going to use your keywords when you're doing your advertising. They're going to be the foundation of your PPC campaigns, and you're also going to use them when you're doing your off Amazon advertising. If you're going to advertise on Facebook or Google ads, or whichever platforms you might decide to use off of Amazon to help drive traffic, because Amazon loves that off Amazon traffic being driven to its pages. And then even after you're live and you've done all this, you've optimized your listing, you don't just set it and forget it. You need to monitor your organic ranking and how that's being impacted. And if you need to make changes to your listing, and continue. It's an ongoing cycle of optimizing and monitoring and optimizing and monitoring. So what do you look for in a keyword? Well, the first thing is search volume. I just talked about that. And your search volumes are going to vary based on the marketplace. In Australia, you could have, a really good search volume would be over 1,000, but that doesn't mean if it's, 500, 600, 700, that it's not still a good keyword. Australia is an emerging market, so it's going to have lower numbers. The United States, I've recently seen some items we've been doing in research for different training where the search volumes are over 30,000. I mean, just insanely huge. But over 2,000 is a really solid keyword. I look at it as bringing together a collection. So if I've got the top 5 main keywords for my product, if the combination of search volume with those 5 is 20 to 25,000 total, then I figure I've got a pretty healthy product and I've got a good base of keywords that I can launch with and generate enough eyeballs on my product listing to be successful. Then I mentioned it before, but when you're optimizing your listing, you need to be hyper relevant. Your keywords need to be the most relevant. You also want to know what your competitors are doing. You want to know how they're ranking. And that's one of my favorite features in the Keywords on Fire tool, is seeing how 25 of my competitors are ranking for the same keywords. And that will help me identify those opportunities where, possibly some long tail keywords, but maybe some opportunities for some keywords that they just haven't thought of. Maybe they're just not doing a really great job, and I can take advantage of those opportunities. So that Keywords on Fire will show you how you can identify those different keywords when you do your search. We can send out a copy of the slides. I know Kimberly has done that in the past, so we can jot down your name, and I think Kimberly should be able to pull it get your email out of the registration and send that to you. So if anyone wants the slides, just do you mind to jot them down, Veronica, and then I'll pass that on to Kimberly and we can get a copy of that to you.
Yeah, Mandy, all of our trainings are recorded, and as soon as they're finished, they're actually emailed to you. So you'll always have this to refer back to as well. So if you have rewatching this as well. We don't usually send them out, but if you have a particular one that we can go and find, and we can send that out. But reach out to our support, because I see your name here, but we obviously need your email address. So if you can actually go to support and be like, hey, Veronica and Kimberly said that they can send us through, can you give them your details and they can do it there. Okay,
yeah,
Mandy?
That's probably the easiest way. That's better, Veronica. That's a much easier way to do that. So cool. Awesome. So again, with your keywords, like we said, you're going to use them in your advertising. So you want to target the most relevant keywords. Now, there's a lot of different PPC strategies, and I am by no means a PPC expert, but I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on the PPC for my products right now. And this is the philosophy that I use, and you will find different PPC philosophies out there, so many different ways to do it. But I like the idea of putting just 6 to 8 keywords maximum in a single campaign, because your budget is set at the campaign level. So if I put in 100 keywords in one campaign and my budget is $50 a day or even $100 a day for that campaign, well, that may still get used up by certain top keywords, and there may be some really great keywords in there that don't get attention. So I sort my keywords by search volume. So I'll put the highest search volume keywords together, and it just depends on what the search volumes is on the spread for my keyword list, how I do this. But for example, I might have 4 or 5 keywords that the search volume is 10 to 15,000, and then I might have some 5, 6, 7, 8 where it's 5 to 10,000, and then above 2,500 and above 1,000. And then when you get down to the smaller search volumes, less than 1,000 or so, you could put a whole lot more keywords in it. The whole logic behind it is that you want to have each keyword have a chance to get a part of that campaign budget. So if my total budget is $100 and I organize my keywords, then I'll just divide that $100 between those campaigns. So they each get a chance, and I'm not blowing the budget. I'm still staying within my advertising budget, but I'm dividing it up a little bit more surgically. So each of those keywords has a chance to shine and bring in some sales. And then again, those long tail keywords, sometimes those might have that smaller search volume. So you put a few of those into those individual campaigns. And when I do this at launch, these are exact match campaigns. I'm not a fan of broad match campaigns at all, but I always start with exact match. And then later on, I might bring in phrase match as well. But I want to see what happens with the exact first. And that allows Amazon to really understand what your product is, because you have to teach that algorithm who you are. And then, like we said, you're just going to continue to monitor and evaluate your listing performance and your keyword ranking. And that will, your PPC will impact your organic ranking. And so you want to keep an eye on those two together. So we have great tools to help you monitor that as well. So we're going to put this into practice. So we're going to take a look at, this is my favorite part, is going and doing the actual demonstration on the tools. So Keywords on Fire, we're going to run a session there. We've got a session we can look at the keyword research and the competitor analysis. And then that's going to help us find those short and long tail keywords that we're going to want to put into our listing. And then we're going to take that into Listing Optimizer so we can effectively use our keywords and compare it to the competitors. I think that's super powerful, being able to look at the same list of keywords against your competitors' listing and see how they're performing. And then we're going to take a look at Keyword Tracker so we can see the organic rank of some listings. And again, if it's your product and you've launched and you've got PPC running, that organic rank is going to get impacted by your PPC. So you want to definitely keep an eye on that there. So you ready to dive into the tools, Veronica?
Yeah, I'm awesome. Everyone give me a moment just to organize my screens, please.
Any questions while Veronica's getting us set up for our demonstration? So the product that I picked for us to take a look at is one that we've been using in a couple of other training sessions. So it's the shower curtain set. So I've got that loaded into Keywords on Fire. So if you want to just walk us through how you would set up a Keywords on Fire session first, Veronica.
Yeah. So guys, when I give demos of ZonGuru tools to everyone, I always say Keywords on Fire is the OG of tools, okay? Because if there was one tool that I had to choose that I could only use for my Amazon business, it would be this. And the reason being, and as Kimberly has just gone through, keywords is used at every step of your Amazon business. Research, listing optimization, PPC, and monitoring, literally every time. And that's something that your keywords are something that you're going to be constantly to revisit. Can you confirm what PPC means? Pay per click. Okay, so that's you'll be learning about that when you start advertising or paying for advertising on Amazon, Mimi. All right, so back on Keywords on Fire. So OG rule. So what does Keywords on Fire do? It is a reverse ASIN lookup, which means it looks at your competitors and it looks at what keywords they are using in their listing, but it also looks at what keywords your customers are typing into Amazon itself, the search engine. So Keywords on Fire gives you most relevant and impactful, powerful keywords that you need to use in your listing. Okay, so that's what it does. Now, how can you get this data? You can do this search in two different ways. The first one being via ASIN. So you can, if you have specific ASINs that you have saved or specific competitors that you want to look at, you can pop in here. You need a minimum of 5 ASINs. You can do all the way up to 25 ASINs. If you're currently doing your product a research phrase, you can add by phrase. So if I go any second now. Okay, so here, if we were doing the shower curtain set, here shower curtain set, make sure you have the appropriate marketplace. Every marketplace performs differently, okay? So don't make any assumptions. You need to do specific marketplace research. Once this loads, what ZonGuru is doing is collecting the top 25 competitors that are ranking for the phrase shower curtain set. Now, because we are streaming, it does take a bit to load. So give me a few moments, but it comes up with the 25 top competitors. What you can do is you can select all of them, or you can pick and choose. I like to usually scroll through the 25, make sure they're actually relevant, because sometimes, you know, a random book or something appears in there. Obviously, that's not relevant to if I'm trying to sell Sheridan shower curtain set, so I deselect that. So that's what usually happens. Do we want to wait, or do I go forward?
I think we can go forward.
I don't think I want to wait.
Yeah. That's
so what we do, we select,
so we're ready to go.
Okay. Oh no, don't do this to me.
The internet is tired today.
I know.
Now, just so you guys are aware, this was a hang up for me when I first started, because like I said, keyword research is something that you do all along the way. But when you're in the platform, Keywords on Fire is actually under the listing optimization tab on the left of your screen. So I was always looking for it in product research, but it actually is the first stop in listing optimization. So that's where you'll find it when you're on the platform.
Yeah. Guys, do you have any questions before I explain going into this? Because I'm actually going to make my cursor bigger, because I know that was actually a requirement. And since I wasn't originally going to be going into this, I hadn't changed mine.
And when this comes up, if you guys are, let us know if you're able to see all of the everything on the screen clearly. Because it's different for us, because, like, you know, my monitor's huge, but you may be watching it on a regular laptop. So if you're struggling to see it, let us know, and we can zoom in and make sure that it is clear enough so you can see what we're doing while we're doing it.
All right, so once you hit run keyword analysis, it takes 3 to 5 minutes to get all that data, because we are collecting a lot of data. And then it comes up like this. You click on the eye here to open up Keywords on Fire. So what Keywords on Fire does, it gives you a fantastic summary of what's happening for the keyword shower curtain set. So here we've got 25 competitors. What this means is that we have 25.
Can you zoom in, Veronica? There's someone saying it's a bit fuzzy. There we go.
Yeah, so right now I'm just giving an overview. So when we go into specific data points, I will zoom in. So this one here, the 25 competitors, this is the 25 ASINs that this data is drawn to. These are the top 25 competitors that are ranking for the shower curtain set. From this analysis, we have 300 keywords. Why not more? Well, what are you going to do with 1,000 keywords? If we had 1,000 keywords, you would ask, okay, what are the top 300? So we have the top 300 keywords that these top performing 25 ASINs are using. This total revenue is a total amount of revenue all these keywords are bringing in the last 30 days. Okay, and this is the total search volume, again, that these keywords are bringing on the last 30 days. So as you can see, over $33 million, that's a lot, almost 3 million search volume. So obviously this niche does have some demand, okay? So it also confirms, you know, when you're doing your product validation, these are the units that you're looking at. Okay, so again, I'm just showing you generally, and then I'll zoom in so you can see the specific numbers. So obviously you've got all your keywords here, and there are a lot of data points. Now, because the different data points you'll be looking at differently depending on what stage you're up to, you can actually edit this. So table settings, these are all the points of data that Keywords on Fire gives you. You can pick and choose if you're a person that maybe, you know, is overwhelmed with all the data, all the numbers, and you just want to look at 2, you can pick and select and apply of what's appropriate for you. If you are doubt of what any of these means, you just hover over it and it gives you an explanation of that. So now if I zoom in slightly. So these are the main ones that on our demo account anyway. So we've got our ZonGuru score. Our ZonGuru score is basically bang for your buck. So based on all of these data points, we give you an indication, so it's out of 100, of what keywords or long tail keywords we think are the most powerful for you to add to your listing, or possibly think about your PPC campaign as well. Keyword revenue, we've got search volume. I really enjoy the top 25 competitors. So it's the number of competitors that are ranked in the top 25 for this keyword. So you can exactly see what your competitors are doing. If there's a lower number, why aren't your competitors ranking or using that keyword? Maybe it's a lapse in judgment on their end. That's an opportunity for you to pursue. ZonGuru launch, I also really like. It's basically gives an indication of, again, demand, but also how competitive a niche is. So for example, this 28 means that for me to rank on page 1 for the keyword bathroom shower curtain set, I need to be selling 28 units a day during my honeymoon period. Okay, so that shows you demand, but also shows you, okay, do I have enough inventory? If I'm going in here, do I have enough inventory to sell 28 a day to maintain a ranking on page 1? So that's a great.
That's really, really powerful when you're going to place your first order, just to have that mindset of how many you really are going to need and when you're going to need to reorder your stock.
That's right. Ratings, price, keyword title. PPC bid is something I also look at. So it's an average PPC bid. So estimated PPC bid to appear for advertisements being displayed for this keyword. So if you're saying, for example, if you went into yoga mat in the US marketplace, PPC bid is through the roof. So obviously you want this number, the lower the better, yes, but you need to, it's more so factoring this into your budget. Can you afford to run PPC for the keywords? That's basically what you're looking at. As I scroll
Another thing to think about with that PPC too, this is really important. This is why we recommend that you pick a product that you can sell for over $25. So you're going to have that margin, because you're going to need pay-per-click. You're going to need to have a PPC campaign. Now, I heard someone speaking the other day that currently the average pay-per-click across most categories in Amazon is now up to $1. It used to be 80 cents. So across the board, it has gone up. And this data is calculated based on the last 30 days. So right now we're still on the tail end of Q4. So these, and advertising costs go up in Q4. So don't let this scare you. If $1.42 seems like a high bid, it's actually not that bad, but keep an eye on this, because this will fluctuate. So, give it a month or two, and that could come right down because we're removed from Q4. But then remember that when Q4 happens, you're going to need a little bit more budget for your advertising to be able to compete against the competitors.
Yeah. Now, as you scroll across, we've got this table here. Now, I'm a big fan of this. I'm a visual learner. I like to see, so I'm going to scroll out for a moment. Okay, so
I love this part.
Yeah. So here what you can see is the 25 ASINs that this data is based on. All of these ASINs that are at the top here, so you can scroll over them, see the ASIN. But what this actually shows you is the position that this ASIN is to the corresponding keyword. So for example, this ASIN here is number 1, not page number 1, but position number 1 for the keyword bathroom shower curtain sets. Okay, so it gives you, again, a visual representation of what your competitors are doing. If you see a dash, it means that this ASIN isn't in the top 200 for the corresponding keyword. So for example, this ASIN, if this was my ASIN and I'm looking at it, I'll be like, hang on a second, I'm missing a whole lot of opportunity that my competitors are making the most of. Or vice versa. So this keyword here has many dashes. So let's go and have a look what that one is. So bathroom sets with rugs and accessories. So if I'm selling a curtain with accessories, then I need to make sure that I'm utilizing that keyword, because obviously there's demand in terms of search demand for that keyword, but my competitors aren't utilizing that keyword. So that's something that I can make the most of.
So that right there is a fantastic example of a long tail keyword that you could start out with. And if you scroll back, the search volume on that is still ridiculously high. 39,000 is a search volume for that keyword. That is amazing. Yeah. And there's a question in the chat. So for the Australian market, is the product price target also $25? And I would say yes. You know, maybe even higher, because when you're comparing Australia to America, things do cost more. So, but again, here, your pay-per-click advertising does tend to be a little bit less in the Australian marketplace. And if you get in with a product where most of your sellers are in the US, or they're fulfilling by merchant, they're FBM and not FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and you put your product into an Australian warehouse, you're going to get preferential treatment by the algorithm, and you could potentially end up organically in place one. So that, and you know, you can ask questions throughout. We're happy to stop and answer questions as they come, especially if it's specific to something that we're doing, Jane. But yeah, so you know, there's the opportunity to. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you have a question based on like what we're looking at right now, answer now, so I can show you why we're sharing it. And then if you've got general Amazon questions, so we can look at that after. So Jane, you've got a PPC question. Hold that to the end. We'll talk about PPC at the end, because then we tend to go off subject. So keywords on fire sessions, I'm looking at between two screens, but otherwise write in your questions and we'll answer them at the end.
Yeah.
So
that answers your price question. So yes.
Yeah. So keywords on fire. We also have metrics. So as Kimberly was saying, if you want to see your long tail keywords. Now, if you're not aware of what a long tail keyword is, it is a keyword that is made up of, is a phrase, a keyword phrase made up of 3 words or more. A short tail keyword is 2 words or less. So for example, if I zoom in here, this keyword phrase is 4 words. Therefore, it is a long tail keyword. Long tail, long tail. This one is 2 words, so it is a short tail keyword. So one of, I don't want to create any confusion, but something that you can look at when you are creating a PPC campaign is the halo effect. And this includes collecting or looking at researching your long tail keywords. And what you can actually do to your keyword search is to add filters. So the filters are here. So while we're zoomed in, I'll show you, and then I'll zoom out to show you where exactly it's found. So you can click here, and these are all the different things you can choose. So again, I'm looking for my long tail keywords. I can go keyword here, contains number of words greater than, words greater to, value 3, filter. And now if I zoom out, you can see that this number here, so the unique keywords, we started with 300. Now, because I've put in this filter, I have 244 long tail keywords. And you can go even further to customize or filter down your search. So say I'm now looking at my PPC bid. So I go PPC bid. I'm going to less than or equal to, say my budget is $1.40, I can put $1.40 filter. And now again, based on that filter, I have 190 keywords that are long tail keywords and have a PPC bid for $1.40 or less. Now say this keyword list is I'm happy with, I want to make sure it is saved so I can use it later. You can go up here and you can save. So that saves to ZonGuru dashboard. If you like to print things off, highlight things, have it like hold it in your hand, you can also download it here. It exports it into a sheet. You can print it off and do whatever you please with it as well. So there are a few options of how you can look at that.
Exporting it to the CSV is also really powerful when you're going to put in your ad campaigns, because you have a list that you can cut and paste into Amazon. But one of the things that I like to do when I do my filters is I try and look for things and eliminate things that are not relevant. So I've actually already created a save, so you can actually show a saved filtered view, and it'll pop up and show you.
Direct me, Kimberly.
So if you click on the show save filtered view, So after you save a filter view, this is where you would come to pull it back up. So yeah, just to the left.
I think I'm learning something new.
Yeah, so you saved it, so cancel that.
Mm-hmm.
And then go straight up to the, nope.
Oh, sorry, I'm
yeah, right there.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so I don't, did you, no, you didn't pull it up. So
okay, so we've got show all results, filter star count curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've gotten this list down to 177 keywords because I went through and took out things that weren't relevant. Like there were, like you might use this to take out branded keywords. Like if you're selling a yoga mat and Nike has a lot of, you know, say Nike yoga mat, you would want to eliminate, and if you can show them how they do this, keyword does not contain a value. And you could put in, you know, so you got keyword, and then one of your options is does not contain, and then you would put in Nike, and then that would eliminate any keyword that had Nike in it, because that's a branded keyword. You don't want to look at your listing in relation to that keyword, because you can't put that in your listing. That is against terms of service to put in that type of keyword. So I will use that to get rid of branded keywords, and I will use it to get rid of things that aren't relevant. So it doesn't show the filters that I actually put in on this filtered view, but I eliminated things like hotel, because there were a few keywords that were, you know, shower curtains for a hotel. Well, we're not selling a shower curtain for a hotel. I got rid of, there were a fair few that were shower curtains with giraffes or sunflowers. So I got rid of those. So those are different types of things that you could do. And I like the fact that you can actually sort this, because, you know, you're only showing the top 75 entries on this page. You can go through and see more pages, but you can also sort it by search volume and reverse sort it and see all of those really low search volume words that you may not want. And you can click on those on that left. And like if you're not selling a blue bathroom set, well, then you don't want to have that in your mix of keywords. And then you can go over and you can hide that row. And then that will further filter your list. And that way, when you export this or you import this into Listing Optimizer after you've saved this filtered view, then you'll be able to pull that filtered view into Listing Optimizer and look at the most relevant pre-selected keywords that you want to make sure that you're going to put into your listing. So I hope that made sense.
So
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so I say this all the time with all the tools, it just takes practice. And when you know what you're looking for, it does seem like less overwhelmed. So it's more so that don't feel like we're showing you what this tool can do. It doesn't mean that you have to do it. Right. Okay, everyone has their own style of doing product research. Everyone has their own way of how they would like to go about it. So when it comes to these trainings, we want to show you what the possibilities of what you can do with these tools. We can give you, you know, I guess our advice or how we personally use them. You know, the way that Kimberly and I go about product research, you know, is different. We have our own ways that, you know, we like, or we found that this and that. And that's why we have, you know, the Q&A at the end. So when we are looking at this, you know, we're just showing you how the tools work and what data you can get from them. It doesn't mean that these are the steps that you have to follow. And again, as you use the tools more, you'll be more familiar. Be like, actually, I do actually only want to look at X, Y, and Z. I don't care about anything else. That's when you can add the filters.
And if you run into any questions when you actually get in, there's a need help button at the top, and it will open up and you can look at a video tutorial of the tool. And this is in all of the tools. So you've got a video tutorial. In this one, you've got an interactive tool. You've got links to training on it, and you've got FAQs. And then you can also just reach out to us at support. So I think that's a good overview of Keywords on Fire and how you kind of basically use this to find those relevant keywords, how you sort it and pare down your list and save your view, so then you can take it to the next step, which is Listing Optimizer. So let's take a look at Listing Optimizer. I've got some shower curtains preloaded. We can take a look and see how they're looking, unless there's something else you wanted to point out here before we go there.
No, I just wanted to say that once you have your keyword list that you want to add to a listing, you would save it here. Okay, so you need to save it because a saved list needs to be then used in Listing Optimizer. So these two tools work hand in hand. So for example, let's say that we have saved this list. Okay, we're happy with it. Now we're going to go into Listing Optimizer. So Listing Optimizer tool here. So for the sake of the internet loading, it is already loaded, but just to walk you through it, it is under Listing Optimization, Listing Optimizer tool, okay? And you click on Add Session, and this is what it comes up with. Does anyone want me to show you the first view, or we're okay starting in it? Let me know. The chat is a little bit delayed from when we're speaking, so I'll look over it. But Listing Optimizer tool, second favorite tool, if I can, you're not supposed to have favorites with the children, but we'll say that second favorite. So Keywords on Fire, Listing Optimizer work brilliantly hand in hand. Okay. Why do we want to use Listing Optimizer? Like, sure, we have to make a listing, but can't you just do that on Amazon? Yeah, you can, and it'll probably suck. So no.
It's painful to do on it. I've never actually done one on Amazon because it's so painful. This tool, one of the best things about this tool, and we'll show you this in a second, you can, once you get everything optimized, there's a one click. If you're connected to your Seller Central account, you can publish the listing that you've crafted here directly to Amazon. It is so
you're
powerful.
Jumping the gun, Kimberly, jumping the gun. All right. So we're in, so under Listing Optimization, I've clicked on Listing Optimizer. This is how the page looks, okay? And these are my past sessions, the listings that I've been working on in our demo account. So what you would do to start a new one, so you can name it, we'll just test, okay? Again, the marketplace is very important, and then you go to Start Session. Okay, so this is a blank one. We have two sides of the Listing Optimizer tool. This is the keyword side. This is where you create your listing side. So firstly, when we come to the keyword side, you need to add the keyword list that you saved previously. And you do that by add, import from Keywords on Fire. And as you can see here, these are all the keyword lists that we've saved on our demo account. So all of them are still there. And you pick the appropriate one. I always like all keywords. And then it actually loads up all the keywords for you there. So now you've got all the keywords. It gives you a few data points, but I'm going to go into those in a moment. So there, we've got our keywords that we want to use to create a listing. Now we have the listing side. Now, obviously, there is nothing here. So firstly, let's say I'm creating a listing from scratch. I go to click there, and I want to blank listing test, you call it your brand, and I add it here. Now, what this section does, it shows you all the elements of a listing. So we have title, we have bullet points, we have description, and we have back-end search terms. Okay, so that's what a listing contains. But really what is the powerful aspect of this tool is that you can directly compare your competitors side by side. So how do you do that? Again, go to the little, what's it called? Add button.
The plus sign.
Listing. Yep. The cross sign. I was just like, can't find this word. Okay, AMZ product. And what you do is you can add a ASIN. Any ASIN from your competitors, you get it straight from Amazon, and you add it to the listing. Okay. Once you add it to the listing, it will come up like this. So add it to the listing, and now the ASIN's information that you pulled will bring up all their title, their bullet points, their description, and their back-end search terms. And this is the powerful bit. You see your competitors' back-end search terms. So these are the terms that they have used in their listing that Amazon reads, so they can, rank for potentially. However, you can't see it on their listing. So that is a major benefit to know what your competitors are doing in their back end, and that is in their back end search terms. So what you can actually do is you can add up to 8 ASINs. Again, directly compare your competitors to your ASIN. So what are you comparing? Exactly, that is the listing optimization score, this score here. What is this score? It is the overall quality of your listing calculated by the strength of the keywords used and where they are placed. So this is when your keywords here on the left-hand side come into play. So as you can see here, this one where there is nothing added, all the keywords are like so, you can see them all. Whereas here, there are other bits of information now. So firstly, on the keywords, when it is green and it is bold, it means that a word has not yet been added to your listing. If the word is gray and shaded like this, that means those words are included in your listing somewhere. And based on, you can see these stars, you've got a star. A star means that this listing has been added, is a broad match in the title. You can also see as I hover over a keyword, if you look on the right-hand side in the title, there are a few now highlighted words. So you see exactly where these words are in the listing as well. When there is a colored in star, it means that there is an exact match in the title. If there is nothing here, it means that this long tail keyword isn't included in the listing whatsoever. And if there is a tick here, that means that that long tail keyword is somewhere broad match added in the listing. I just need some water, sorry guys.
Now, one of the things that is really important, I think, to point out, and I noticed this in this listing, they've got a few things in their title, some keywords that they've put in their title. They've also put them in their back-end search terms. Now, you do not have to once you put a keyword in your listing, it's in your listing. You don't have to put it in multiple times. Now, if you're trying to get certain phrases exact matched a couple of times, then you might have some repetition. In this one, potentially, shower curtain or shower curtain set, there may be some times when that does repeat, but they've got Valentine's Day in their search terms, and they've also added it to their title because I feel like this would be a Valentine's Day giftable item. They don't need that in both places. Once you've got it in your title, especially, you really don't need it anyplace else. But again, you do want to create your listings where they're readable and they're not just keyword stuffed. You have to get really creative in working those keyword phrases in where it makes sense when you're reading it. So that's a bit of an art once you get into this. But it can be challenging, but it can be fun too.
That's right. So now that you know what information you have, so you've got your keywords here, you've got your competitors here, and I wanted to show you the power of how fast this listing optimization score works. So based on here, these aren't my products, but you can go.
I do have a test title. I think an optimized title in the blank listing. In the blank listing, I do have an optimized title to go in the first listing and see how it changes their listing.
Thank you. Okay, so why do we do this? Because it takes time. So what I want to show you is the power of knowing what your competitors are doing, knowing what keywords you want to add to your listing, and how by small changes you can make this number grow significantly. So is it to this ASIN?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So firstly, let's have a look at what the other ASINs are doing. So this ASIN here, as you can see, is 14,000 score. I'm not going to open them because it will take too long to load. This score is 20,000. I hope you can see the score. It's above the ASIN. Is that clear? Okay. Yeah,
there we go.
This one is 12,000. This one is 12,000. And the ASIN that we're going to pretend is our ASIN is at 17,000. So it's not the worst ASIN, or I don't mean the worst, I mean the lowest scored ASIN from our listing optimization tool. However, it's not the best. So our top one here was 20,000. Or did I just?
I think it's the black one. Was the 20,000.
20,000.
No, it was the cheetah one. I think it was like 18.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is that we want to be there. It is. Yeah. We want to be. We want our score to be more than that. So therefore, we need to make some changes to that. So this is the title. I'm going to paste in a title that Kimberly created. Now these words are based on the keywords from the left-hand side. Okay, so they're not from air. So I've just popped that in. Let's see what it recalculates to. 26,000. Well done, Kimberly.
Thank you. Now, one thing I want to point out here is, the list optimization score is awesome and I love it and it's going to change, but I focus really intently on the search volume score and the combined revenue, because looking at this, even though that has improved the score and it's in the top 12%, there's still a lot of money left on the table here. We're optimized for a search volume of 2 million, but there's a potential search volume from these keywords of 2.7 million. So that's 700,000 searches a month that we're missing out on, and I want those. So I make sure that I continue to optimize my listing and phrase things in my bullet points and in my description to where I am getting that up to as high as I possibly can for that keyword list, because again, we've gone through Keywords on Fire, and this keyword list I've imported is really dialed in and really specific, and it is exactly the keywords. There's nothing non-relevant in theory when you do this step. So you want to bring in those really relevant keywords that matter the most. Now we're running short on time, and I do want to show Keyword Tracker. So this is something, again, that you can spend a lot of time learning and going through. And this is just a broad overview of it. But if you'll quickly show them how to publish, if this is your listing and you've got it all perfect, you don't have to go to Seller Central. You can just, with a click of a button, send this directly. Of course, we won't do it. We're not connected, but right here. And if you make a mistake, and you're like, oh, I messed that up and I don't want to do this, you can reload from Amazon. So you can pull back the listing and it'll get rid of the changes you've made if maybe you've done something by mistake that you didn't want to do, and it'll fix it and bring it back to where it was in Amazon, from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to add, before we move on to the next, one last thing. We did talk about the back-end search terms. Knowing what the back-end search terms from your competitors is a major advantage, and you need to utilize that. But also, a convenience of this tool is, once you're happy with your listing, you may have still a few keywords, see how they are blue bold, that you haven't included. Now, obviously, you still want them to be relevant, but what you can actually do is you can just click on them, and by clicking them, they are automatically added to the back-end search terms here. As you can see, they're pasted immediately, and my listing optimization score continues. So this is something that you don't even have to type. Your back-end search terms are definitely not an afterthought, but you're putting your most impactful, powerful keywords, in your listing. These are more so, I guess, the leftover ones, or you can put ones that aren't directly relevant to your keywords that you don't want to put in your title, but it's something that possibly someone might look at to find something, so you put it in your back-end search terms. So
one thing I put in there a lot, I found that sometimes there'll be Spanish search terms that come up, and I see there is a Spanish search term there that has a search volume of 15,000. So that would be something that you might want to put in your search terms in the back end. And misspellings. If you have a product where someone is constantly misspelling one of the key words, and it actually generates a good search volume, put those misspellings in your back-end search terms. So you'll still be found for that, but you're not displaying a misspelling.
Yeah. All right, we are going to move on to Keyword Tracker, unless anyone has a question directly on Listing Optimizer while we're on this page. I know that, again, it is a little bit delayed, but otherwise we'll move on to Keyword Tracker, because, we are running a bit over time for this. So Keyword Tracker is found under monitoring and alerts, okay, on the left-hand side here. Keyword Tracker is what you're looking at. Now, how do you add keyword track? What do you add here? Who do you want to track? Okay, firstly, this tracks the positioning of keywords that an ASIN is, this tracks the positioning of an ASIN for specific keywords, and you can track any ASIN. So you can do this for your own ASIN. So, for example, you've just launched, you've just put in a new PPC campaign. You need to monitor the performance of those keywords. You need to track them. Are there changes? Is your ranking getting worse or better? This is what you do it. But however, You can also put your competitors' ASINs in here if you want to see what keywords they are ranking for as well. And you simply do that by adding an ASIN in, choosing the marketplace and click add. That's it. So as we've got here, we've got a few of the shower curtains, and I've just opened one here. So I'm just going to zoom out first so you can see the data points, and then we can zoom in for specifics. So we've got the ASIN, we've got the title. Now, when you add an ASIN, ZonGuru chooses what keywords you're tracking here. Okay, so you've got the keyword, you've got the search volume, you've got a graph that is a 30-day trend. You've got a position, page, and position change. So this is what you're going to be looking at once you start doing your PPC campaigns. Where are you moving? Where is it? Page change. However, you can also add specific keywords if the ones that you're wanting to track, and you can simply add them manually here as well. Kimberly?
What is the maximum number of keywords that you can put into the keyword tracker? I think it's changed lately, hasn't it?
The maximum, I actually don't know the answer to that question.
I know it used to be 25, but I have a listing in, and it seems, I didn't count them, but it seems to have a lot more than that. So I don't know if that number has changed or not. But anyway, yeah, so this is a hugely powerful tool and you can sort it now by the search volume. You can sort it by the page numbers. So you can see all of the keywords where you're ranking on page 1, and then see if they've been moving around on page 1, see if you've dropped from page 1 to page 2. So, this is something that I would check very regularly, daily potentially, and just see how things are moving on your ranking. I wouldn't check it probably more than once a day though. But because I don't think it updates that frequently. It will change, I think, throughout the day, but not like minute to minute. So once a day, you got an idea of where you are and what's happening, and if you need to do something to optimize your listing. So again, this is so powerful to use for your own listings, but to see where your competitors are ranking and see if you can beat them on certain keywords that you want to outrank them for.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So that is keywords. My friends, I'm going to stop sharing the screen, but if you have any questions about keywords, about any of the tools we've been through, or any of the tools in general, please let us know. Anything Amazon related, we will try to answer your questions the best of our knowledge. But yeah, shoot.
So Jane's question about PPC data. So the PPC cost is for one click only. And the average is that it takes 8 clicks typically to get a sale. So that's where you kind of want to, that's why we talk about having that room in your pricing. So you've got that PPC space. And when you launch, of course, your A cost is going to be higher, and you'll optimize it. And once your launch progresses, it should go down, and, you'll have, yes, it may take that many clicks, but your sales aren't all going to be coming from advertising. You'll be getting sales from organic sales as well. And that's one of the things, once you go live, you definitely want to have your account upgraded to a seller account so you can see that business dashboard and see the difference in your organic sales versus your paid sales. So that's hugely valuable and important to look at.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Any other questions about the topic today or anything at all Amazon related? That's the cool thing about our sessions. Our question and answer is completely wide open. Okay, so does EBC or A+ fit into the listing optimizer? So no, that is a separate section that you'll have to go through. And when you submit your A+ content, it has to get approved. I think they actually put eyeballs on that, and it's not just an algorithm that looks at that and makes sure that it's appropriate. So that is unfortunately not part of the listing optimizer tool, because it's so comprehensive with so many different options and things that you can put into it.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the keywords that if you're using text from there, you can definitely use keywords from the Keywords on Fire tool and work that into your A+ content, but it's just not on the ZonGuru platform.
And I did hear this just yesterday that when you put in your photos in your A+ content, you have a little space where you can put in text. It won't show to the customer, but that text is what actually indexes in your A+ content. The words that are in your images won't. So it's actually what's in the text that's going to, and behind any photo, you do have that place for alt text. And so definitely put in some keywords there. And it doesn't have to be pretty. Just put in the keywords because it's not going to be seen by anybody other than the algorithm for indexing.
Yeah. Jan, you 100% always use bullet points. Your bullet points is like, it's a title, bullet points. If you don't have bullet points, someone will open your listing and be like, there's no information there. So you always 100% have your bullet points. Your EBC, if you can have it, so you need to have brand registry to have EBC or A+ content, okay? So title and bullet points, that is the standard. You need to take up as much real estate on your page as possible. And then if you can, if you have the brand registry, add the EBC as well as.
And a little tip here too, once you have A+ content or EBC, your product, that takes the place of the product description in your listing. So at that point, then your product description doesn't have to read well anymore because it won't be seen. But it is, I don't know if it's confirmed, but it is definitely a high possibility that text is still being indexed by the Amazon algorithm, even if it's not being shown. So and it's such a huge section, that's a place where you can put in so many keywords that you haven't been able to work in any place else. So again, you don't have to be repetitive with the same keyword. If you put shower curtain set in your title, you don't have to put it anywhere else. But if it makes sense to say it in part of your listing, great. But I wouldn't take up space in your search terms or that product description if you're using that with A+ content just for extra keywords. I hope that made sense.
Amy says, there seems to be a limit for the niche search. Is it the same for keyword search? And does it replenish based on your monthly subscription? The short answer is yes. So depending on what subscription you have a limit on the number of searches. So how they actually replenish is on a 30-day basis. So it's not that it goes back to like 0 searches every 30 days, is that if I do one search today, then in 30 days time, I get that one search back. So if in one day, if you use up, 30 searches and tomorrow you use up 3, in 30 days from today, you'll get those 20. And then in 30 days from tomorrow, you'll get the others. So that's what happens. That is what happens. If you're doing your searches correctly, if I can say that, you shouldn't need to be doing like billions of keyword searches, for example, because you're only doing them for products that have ticked a certain amount of boxes to go over to that stage. If you run out of searches on your 30 days and you don't want to wait 30 days, you can purchase add-ons. Kimberly, you may have more details to add to that.
Yeah. So the sessions are going to be different for each one of the tools. You'll see that up at the top underneath the name of the tool. If you hover over that, it'll tell you when it's going to reset. It'll tell you the date that it's going to reset because it is a rolling 30 days for that. Now in Niche Finder, again, a really good tip. When you're going in and doing your niche, you put in all your parameters in Niche Finder. When you hit load more, so once you've put in your searches, and I don't use easy mode, I go to advanced mode because you can be really dialed in on all those filters. When you load in, if you want to pull up just anything there, Veronica, and we can see it. So when you scroll down to the bottom, there'll be a little button that says load more. Hitting load more does not use up another session. And you can, anything here that you like, you can add it to your favorites and go back and look at it at any time. So when you open up a keyword, or you can just look at it right there with the little 3 dots, you can hit the little star, and all that information will go directly to your favorites, and then you can go back and look at that again without having to use up another session to pull it up. So I hope that made sense and helps you out with that. So definitely use that load more button definitely use your filters. So you're getting the products and the parameters for your niche results that you want, putting in your search volume, your revenue, whatever ones make the most and are the most important to you. For me, I always do the niche score. I don't always do the search volume. I typically will do the revenue. I'll definitely do a maximum on ratings, and I'll definitely do a minimum on price. So I would say niche score, ratings, and price, the big three that I always put in whenever I'm doing this. So I hope that helped.
Yeah. These kind of questions, if you're not sure, like, subscription or sessions and things like that, immediately go to our support. So again, support here, and we humans answer those questions. We have an international team, so it's 24 hours. We try to answer it as soon as possible.
Yeah, so we will be taking you through a little bit of a process now where you might get your question automatically answered without getting to us. But if we still aren't getting the answer that you need, you will be able to get to a live person. So, oh, happy to help, Mandy, anytime. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. All righty.
Well, thank you guys so much for sticking with us with all the technical issues this morning. I think I have a gremlin. I really appreciate you guys sticking with us on that. That really means a lot to us. And I hope you've gotten some value out of what we've gone through today. We're still here if you want to ask any other questions. We don't have to cut it short. But if there aren't any other questions, we will go ahead and end it today. So this is recorded, so everyone will get a copy of the recording, so you can go back and pause it if you wanted to take notes or screenshots of any of those slides. And if you have any other questions that we didn't answer, again, just reach out to us in support. We are there and happy to help you in any way that we can.
Yeah. So weekly training. We'll see you next week. Have a fantastic week.
Oh, actually, no. Next week we won't be having a training because we have our big 2-day webinar. So if you guys aren't aware, we have a 2-day seller strategy. I'm going to say it wrong. Seller strategy summit. So it's going to be at the same time on Thursday and then the same time on Friday. So it's a 2-day event. Those are the Australian times. In America, it's Wednesday, Thursday. But thank you. So Veronica has put the link in. Please register and join us. This is going to be really powerful. And if for some reason you're not able to make it to either or both of the sessions or whichever, you will get replays of that as well. So it's going to be a really great session. It's really exciting. And I hope to see a lot of you there.
Just quickly, last question. The favorites are just here at the top. So niche finder. Favorites is just at the top on the right-hand corner.
Oh, and you can also save your filter. If you have a certain set of filters that you want to use on a regular basis, you can click the filters button there and save your filter. And then you can just go back and just pull it up immediately anytime you want to.
All righty, team. Have a fab day. Awesome. Hopefully we'll see you at the Kimberleys are taking it. I'll be on chat answering any questions or steering you in a direction if you need any help. But we'll see you there. Otherwise, have a fab day.